Once Netflix was just a startup that made DVDs in red envelopes, a scrappy tech experiment that Hollywood barely took seriously. 2 decades later, it's rewriting entertainment's biggest turning points. Because Netflix is now at the center of reports about one of the boldest potential moves in media history, a possible $82 billion play, which is the enterprise value for the most key parts of Warner Bros. Discovery. But here's the twist. This wasn't supposed to be Netflix's story alone. Just weeks ago, another giant was circling. Paramount and Skydance, backed by Larry Ellison's group, were reported to be considering rival bids to change Warner Bros.' direction. However, Netflix moved first and reportedly moved bigger. Sources suggest that any potential Netflix offer focuses specifically on Warner Bros. Movie studios, television production, and HBO Max, not its cable news and sports empire. Paramount's proposed scenario, insiders say, centered on roughly $60 billion explanatory framework, bringing together Paramount Pictures, CBS, and MTV with Warner Bros. Film and television assets. That effort never reached a binding agreement. Differences over debt, deal structure, and long-term valuation stalled progress. Now, Paramount's position has escalated with a hostile all-cash offer of roughly $30 per share, valuing the company at more than $100 billion, including debt, dramatically raising the stakes and reshaping the battlefield. It did not happen in vacuum. Scrutiny began quietly in Washington. Lawmakers and regulators started raising questions as soon as the talks surfaced publicly, focusing on competition, market concentration, and media power. Behind the scenes, Warner Bros. Discovery has been working to separate itself. One group for studios and streaming, including Warner Bros., HBO, and Max, the assets linked to reported Netflix interest. Another group for cable news and sports networks, including CNN, TNT, Eurosport, expected to be spun off. That's the key difference between the approaches. Netflix-linked interest focuses on studios and streaming. Earlier rival interests focused on broader, full company deal. Days later, the public reports landed. $72 billion in equity value, $82 to $83 billion in enterprise value, including debt. A proposed fusion of film studios, television production, HBO Max, and Netflix's global streaming machine, one of the largest media combinations ever proposed. And then came the market reaction, and it was sharp. As soon as the possible sale leaked, Warner Bros. Discovery stock exploded, surging nearly 30% in a matter of days. Investors priced in a takeover premium. Analysts said that the company has entered a historic consolidation moment. Then came the political shockwave. US President Donald Trump praised Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos. But within hours, he issued a warning that sent tremors through Washington and Wall Street alike. Netflix already controls a massive share of the streaming world. Adding Warner Bros., he said, could be a problem. He also signaled closer political scrutiny as regulators moved in.
I met with Ted. I think he's fantastic. I think he's, in the history of Hollywood, has really been almost, you could say, nothing like what he's done. They have a very big market share. And when they have Warner Brothers, that share goes up a lot. So I don't know. That's going to be for some economists to tell. And also, and I'll be involved in that decision too. They have a very big market share. And he's got a lot of interesting things happening aside from what you're talking about. But it is a big market share. There's no question about it.
If this merger wins approval, Netflix and Warner Bros. Studio streaming business together could command more than 400 million subscribers worldwide, roughly a third of the entire global streaming market. That will put Netflix ahead of Disney+, Amazon Prime, and almost every other entertainment powerhouse combined. And that kind of power brings consequences. For viewers, here's the appeal and the risk. On one hand, one platform could deliver Hollywood blockbusters, Korean dramas, Indian originals and HBO shows like Euphoria, Succession, The Last of Us, Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, all accessible inside Netflix's app. On the other hand, critics say dangers may be deeper. Entertainment unions have warned consolidation could shrink opportunities. Some lawmakers describe the deal as a potential monopoly risk. Antitrust regulators are preparing detailed reviews of the agreement. And if regulators block the deal, Netflix could face a reverse backup fee estimated at $5.8 billion, which would be one of the most expensive failure clauses ever written into Hollywood. Inside Hollywood, the mood right now is electric and uneasy. Major studios and investors see global reach and efficiency like never before. But independent filmmakers, writers, and smaller studios fear they may lose their shot at creative freedom and new projects. And this doesn't stop at American borders alone. The impact could also reach movie theaters around the world. If Netflix giant controls Warner Bros. Theatrical pipeline, it could influence how long film stays in cinemas, which markets get priority releases, and which films go straight to streaming. For theaters, this isn't just disruption, it's existential moment. Because there is no longer just a streaming war. It's a fight over control. Who gets funded, who gets heard, and who gets the screens. Will Netflix end up owning the story, or will regulators in Washington rewrite the ending?